Guys, today I'm back with another episode of Dancer's Corner, and today I'm going to be talking about self-doubt. First off, I would like to give a shout out to our new sponsors, Dancewear Corner. I'm really excited to be working with them. They are an awesome dance retailer, and they're going to be sponsoring our Dancer's Corner posts from now on. So stay tuned for some really cool stuff coming between our two brands. Self-doubt is inevitable, right? You have feelings of inadequacy, or maybe you're not good enough, and you might even sometimes think like, should I keep going with dance? Should I keep going with what I'm doing? And the answer is yes, and I'm hoping today to give you some tips and some guidance on how to navigate this kind of difficult part of being an artist. So a big roadblock for me is when I start to think about how many other people are doing similar things as me, right? So other YouTubers, other dancers, other choreographers, other, women and men, and anyone truly who have dance companies and they're directing dance companies. I start to get in this weird headspace where I'm like, oh my gosh, there are so many people doing the same thing as me. Is what I'm doing even worth it? Am I good enough? Am I even in comparison to what they're doing? Am I adding up to them? And it's a really kind of a scary mindset to be in, because it truly affects your creativity, and it affects your happiness, right? The reason that I do what I do is because I love it. So when I get into that kind of self-doubt, comparison, worry that there's other people similar to me, then I stop myself from the true joy that dance and talking to you guys gives me. So if you ever find yourself in a spot where you're thinking, gosh, I'm such a small fish in a big pond, as they say, just take a moment and breathe and pause. And first off, know that it's so normal. It's going to happen. There are going to be days where you fall into this kind of black hole of comparing yourselves to others and worrying about how others are doing in comparison to you, or the similarities, the differences between you guys. But just remember that why you started is what's most important. So whenever you get lost in that spiral of thinking, go back to the beginning, go back to the foundation, go back to the place that feels like home, because that's why you began, and that's what's most important. Number of followers, subscribers, money, success, fame, all that stuff does not matter. What matters is the love and the passion that you have. That is the reason why you began. That's what you should be focusing on. So try and let go of all of that junk that you don't need and bring yourself back to the basics. I think so. Also, take notice of the zoo that I have over here. Two pups. There are two things that I really want to share that have gotten me through some tough times. Number one is progress is not always loud. And what I mean by that is your little accomplishments are not always going to be these big things and these really massive publicized steps forward, but that doesn't take away the fact that there's still accomplishments, there's still steps forward. So remember that growth and progress sometimes look really small and they're quiet, but those are still steps forward. Those are still positive aspects of what you're doing. So just because it's not, something that you can post on Instagram or post on YouTube and have everybody see and everybody congratulate you, and it's this big loud thing, it doesn't take away the value of it. So celebrate all of the little accomplishments that you have along the way, even if they're not celebrated by everybody else. Celebrate your own victories, big or small. Another thing is, no one shares the darkness or the grind, as they say. Everyone shares their accomplishments and successes and their highlight reels. So just remember that behind all of these public profiles, behind all of the trophies and the wins, as you would say, there's hustle and there's hard work and there's bad days and there's you know, there's blood, sweat, and tears, and that goes for everyone. So don't ever compare your darkness with someone else's sun, or their time in the sun, as they would say. As cheesy as that is, but it's the truth. Just know that, you know, there's no flowers with no rain, right? So take the rain, take the bad, and know that good also comes with it. And I would just say, just when self-doubt creeps in, just focus on your art. Focus on what feels good for you. It doesn't matter how it looks. I read something one day that said, if you didn't know how your life looked, would you be okay with how it feels? It's something like that. I might have butchered it, but it's basically saying, if you weren't so worried about how your life looked to everybody else, would it still feel good for you? Are you doing things that are truly making you feel happy and truly making you feel fulfilled, or are you going after things that look good to everybody else? Think about that when you get into this weird spiral. Go back to what really feels good for you. Just focus on your soul path, as I always say. The moment you start to focus on making yourself look good or worrying about what others are doing, you lose sight of your true self. You lose sight of your soul path, and you're gonna go off of what's truly meant for you. So find your way back to yourself, find your way back to what makes you happy and what's important to you, and try not to get lost in the noise. You have this very precious bubble around you, right? And it's your happiness bubble, if you will. So be very picky, be very stingy about what you let into that bubble. Don't let self-doubt and worry come into that bubble, right? Keep it positive as much as you can. I'm human. I have days where I just, I'm so frustrated. Check out these guns. I've been doing Pilates. Anyways, you have days where you just want to give up, but remember to keep that bubble as sacred as possible, right? Focus your energy on the things that matter most. All right. Lastly, I just want to share that there's plenty of success and beauty and good to go around. You don't need to worry about getting it all for yourself, or, if that person has beauty, well, I can't have any. If that person's successful, well, I can't be successful. That's not true. There's plenty for everyone, so focus on yourself. My quote for this episode is, "A flower does not think of competing to the flower next to it, it just blooms." If you're a quote addict like me, I'm sure you've heard that one, but it rings true every time. Just bloom for yourself. Bloom in your own beauty. Stay true to your soul path, and happiness will be just right around the corner in this crazy, beautiful dance industry. Just know that what's meant for you won't pass you by. Don't get caught up in what others are doing. Keep self-doubt out of your bubble and just bloom. Thanks for watching, you guys. Love you. And don't forget to check out Dancewear Corner.